seems it was God's idea to pour out upon humanity this Holy Spirit and to transform individuals and the world. The weak link, of course, was every single human being. As we experience that Spirit, accept it, translate it, modify it, project it. And so as the church in the first century sees this Spirit at work, it's not always with the same mind, not always with the same intent, not always with the same method. And we've been discussing the different approaches to how best that first century church tried to unleash that Spirit. A brief passage today rejoins that conversation once again from Paul in his letter to the Galatians. A few brief and wise words. I'll be reading the ones in yellow and invite you to read aloud the words in white print from Galatians 5. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free. But do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love.
For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself.
If you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? 1, 2, 3. And for those of you who remember at that point, the owl bites into the piece of candy and gets to the center, and there's your answer. 3. How do we get to the center? And I think even more importantly, what do you find when you get there? For at least 4,000 years in the Western world, the debate has been on what is at the center of a human being. Would you call it a self, or a soul, or a spirit, or anything else? Is there a true human nature? If we get down to who we truly are, what does it look like? It seems that at least one possible way of understanding how we become who we are is to acknowledge that in life we're really rather fragile. We're incredibly altered by what we're taught and how we're taught. Some by the words that people tell us, even more so by the actions they put upon us, the way we're treated, the way we're cared for or neglected, the way we're cherished or abused. We're shaped by how well life goes most of the time, without any control over any of it. We're shaped by the ways we respond to how life goes and the consequences that come from those decisions. And so for many people, we build this hard shell around ourselves to protect that vulnerable inner self. I've known people with hard shells. I've known people with really, really, really cold shells. I've known people I've loved very deeply, but trying to draw close to them was like trying to embrace a porcupine. We surround that inner self to protect ourselves, to isolate. And sometimes it's a passive defensive, and sometimes it's a very aggressive defensive way, pushing people away so they can't get close enough to hurt us. Sometimes it's being very isolated and being very careful about what we care about and who we care about because we've already been hurt so many times. What's in the center? What is that human nature that's being surrounded? Christianity, by and large, has operated on this assumption that human beings were created in the image of God, and therefore there is something beautiful, wonderful, powerful, loving, kind, caring, compassionate in the center of our being. It is our soul. It's who we are called to be. It's that gentle, kind, patient, joyful spirit that has been trapped within that hard shell that life puts upon us. And if that's true, if there is a human nature, if it is the image of God recreated in each of us, if it is loving, caring, compassionate, then surely the secret to abundant life is to find ways to get through that shell into that center, to allow us each to flourish as those unique, caring children of God. And if that's true, then Paul's theology, Paul's gospel, makes abundant sense. The gospel, the Spirit, God's and full intent is to set you free, to get through that hard shell, to strengthen you, encourage you, help you find that brave, powerful spirit that will simply let you emerge in the world. If we set aside our defenses and overcome our prejudices and our biases, our fears and frustrations, and just let that true inner self emerge, then the world will be changed. If it's truly that beautiful, if it's the image of God. So, set you free. That's not what Paul's own tradition had done. It's not what most of mainline Judaism had been doing. It's not what most of Christianity has been doing. It's not about setting you free. It's about controlling you. Because the flip side of the philosophy, the theology, It could be that your inner core is really already corrupt, and we need to protect the world from you. It could be that when you break through the hard shell of the Tootsie Pop, there's nothing inside at all. That's the philosophy. Is human nature good? In Christian terms, the image of God? Is human nature bad? And if left to our own devices, we will simply devour each other, destroy each other, self-destruct? Or the middle ground is there really no human nature at all, except it's like a sponge that absorbs whatever it experiences and whatever it's taught. And so, in order for me to be a loving, kind, caring person, if that ever happens, someone has to teach me that. It's not my nature. I'm not good, I'm not evil, I'm just vacant until I'm taught. Why does any of this matter? Because it does direct the ways in which we treat each other. Should we be constantly correcting each other? Should we have some hierarchical authority that tells us what's right and tells us what's wrong, that teaches us and chastises us and tries to control us, to save us from our evil nature? Should we be devoting all of our time and energy on teaching each other what being good and kind and holy is? Or is all we need is to be surrounded by people who simply accept us, who love us, who set us free from judgment and condemnation, who set us free from unreasonable expectations, who set us free from the pain and suffering the world has heaped upon us our whole lives, that sets us free from the disappointments and grudges that we carry around, that sets us free from the painful mistakes that we've made in the past. Is all we need to do simply love each other, accept people, forgive people, and that will break through that hard outer shell and the inner beauty will emerge. It certainly seems to be where Paul's coming from. Quit controlling, quit surrounding people with rules and expectations, quit heaping judgment upon them, and just love. Quit fearing other people's judgment, quit hiding from God, believe that we're accepted and celebrated for who we are, and let our true selves emerge. When Paul warns, do not use your freedom to bite and devour each other, I think it's because well-intentioned people, motivated, spirit-filled people, honestly believe that the best way to get to the center is to bite through the outer shell. Let me spend a few hours convincing you what a terrible, wretched sinner you are, and how many different ways you need to change, and how much you need to walk away from. and help you understand what you need to do and what you need to believe, even if it hurts, even if it's devastating, even if it feels like I'm biting and devouring you. Some of the most pointed, painful judgment inflicted by one Christian upon another has been well-intentioned. I just need them to see the truth. I just need them to understand how wrong their choices are, how misguided their behavior is. Of course, right? Of course, to be deliberately cruel just for being cruel, to try to dominate just because we love the power, right? We tell everybody to sit down and they sit down. We love the power. Of course, we can set that aside. Well, of course, abusing people is wrong. But what Paul was experiencing firsthand and seeing emerge in the church, and what Paul desperately didn't want the church to become, was a bunch of well-intentioned, holier than thou, smarter than the other guy, controlling souls. I'm going to have to bite and devour and kick and push and slap you around a little bit if that's going to help you become the good child of God you were meant to be. And so have a seat, and I'll tell you what a sinner you are. Let's go through the little book to tell you what you have to believe. And I can control you. And coerce you and manipulate you into being what I think you need to be. The majority of Christianity continues to believe that particular approach to helping the child of God emerge from the hard shell that we build around ourselves. And given our own experience of how cruel and hateful human beings can be, it's hard to know what the truth is. But there are some of us still clinging to this hope and dream of Paul, this gospel he proclaims, this insistence that I am free and you are free, and that's how God wants it to be. And that in freedom we will flourish. In freedom we will emerge as the beautiful child of God we were created to be. And perhaps all I need to do to help you emerge is to help you feel loved. Is to help you understand how cherished you are. Is to help you feel secure enough and safe enough in the grace of God to break free from the shell and bless the world with who you really are. The debate continues, the philosophies continue to challenge each other, but I think it's still worth a try. There are plenty of people in the world, religious and not, ready to control other people. Let's see what happens if we just try to set them free. Let us pray. From our fears and insecurities, oh God, set us free. from those thoughts and experiences that make us feel so unworthy, so useless. Set us free from this anxiety that we will never be enough. Set us free from the fears that have been brought on by the way the world and the world's people have treated us. Those fears that keep us from loving because we don't want to be hurt. Set us free. From all those lessons we've been taught by frail and flawed human beings. They convince us that we're ugly, useless, unworthy. Set us free. Just embrace us until we know that we're cherished. And help us find out how we can help you do that. In Jesus' name.